though, has a good idea as to what's coming up. NineZ, though, have been so passive on their approach that they haven't fully shown their hand just yet. And with 50 seconds left on the clock, they've got enough time to re-rotate. Hades in the right position, in the right spot, has dropped the bomb back down again. 2 kills is where his round comes to an end, but he's done more than enough for the rest of his team. And now Spinks, with a perfect angle, has put that to use. 2 players remain. Dhow with a crisp 1 tap, goes in for more. A lot of damage inflicted to him from Max, and will be enough to finalize his life. So in 30 seconds, he's about to become swelled down from CTs, and ENCE do claim first blood.
I love how Snappy just running around with the dualies, hoping to find something, and he just empties a few bullets into the unicorn full eco bits. Never really gonna see that nowadays.
Not really. No investment put in. And Spinks, in the meanwhile,
all right,
he doesn't mind slaying a legendary creature. Straight through with the first frag. David, though, where was that? Snappy's just been picked off with the clock. Not sure, 2 kills, really? ENCE, guys, come on.
It's gonna clear the corner though. That's a question. Barrel won't be spotted. It's gonna slowly peel away. A lot of noise being made here by David, and it's gonna be Spinks. He will have no trouble dispatching of him. Round should be done here. 20 seconds on the clock, and simultaneously everyone falls. Still a win for NineZ. You take away a couple of guns there, you're going to be very, very happy. And it's not just the weapons, right? You lose.
Very aggressive when the ball is needed. But Lucan, there we go. We've seen the bull in action now. Takes off the head of Madden, makes it look easy. And there's a second. He's charging straight in on the site all alone now that Spinks has dealt the fatal blow. But it's going to be a B hit anyway. And they're catching some players in transition. Snappy relocates to the back of the site. Good first frag. Keeping them honest, but a great counteractive kill from David. That should be the bomb plant. And considering that Lucan is still over on A, they're going to have eyes in the back of their head at some point here, ENCE, on this retake. To make matters worse, Max is pushed up close. He'll have to drop on Spinks. And Dhow may get one, but now his position is known. He has a smoke. He has no kit by his side. I believe one was dropped down on the site, though, which has now been picked up. And he's going to look to try and get into the defuse of the smoke. But there's Max in the perfect position, primed to strike, and strike he shall.
So now, 3v3. All 3 players still pretty healthy overall on both the sides. But the smoke dissipates, Lucan's going to be in a rough spot. Never mind, Dhow will come out on top. They're barely getting scratched. And the final 2 members, DGT and Rock, slowly making their way towards the B bomb site. Snappy, the anchor, he's lying in wait. And backup? Is it going to arrive as a question? No, it looks like Madden's going to be making his way towards the A bomb site. And Snappy, he's going to get his neck snapped by Rocks. Molotov deployed as well as the bomb. He's going to try and get it planted, but Madden will find DGT, leaving it on Rocks to clutch this one out.
10 HP up against 100. Madden, the new recruit who's been in for a while now, of course, tenured, has to try and clutch this, but loses his head. And the South Americans go from strength to strength. That's 4 rounds in a row. After picking up 3 in that last game, head and shoulders above the rest of his teammates. This has been the case so many times, though. He is such a great player. And speak of the man, he will deliver. DGT hasn't quite had the impact we were expecting, and he won't in this round either. It's looking like this is just going to be a case of closing the casket on the head of NineZ, as Lucan is last man standing, AWP in hand.
Snappy, they're making a lot of noise, and Lucan, oh, he just scopes at the worst time possible, and the fast scope, unfortunately, not even able to rattle off a bullet. But that round...
Yeah, I mean, if he makes it work, if he gets an entry or so, it could be very much worth it. Madden, though, after a flashed up Max, is going to go looking, but Max does decapitate him. Now can push in. Maybe a second kill could be forthcoming after all. David's been completely destroyed down to 17 HP, but he's not the main player. The main star in this round was Max, but not for much longer. And now Hades is cleaning up. The mop and brush is out, and he just forces them all away. There won't be a bomb plant. The bomb is spilled out the ramp, and the rest of the players are about to just get cleaned up and thrown out with the trash. This round is a done deal. Well played from Hades, though. DGT could be up to the task, though, but he needed his teammates to have more impact out of Palace because it doesn't force Madden's attention elsewhere. If they die from Palace, Madden probably looks towards the side, he gets the backstab. Not the case, and this round has come crumbling down. NineZ went from a really good spot of momentum to now back into the slums, and it's only Max that's left alive. And of course, with his previous buy, down to a deagle, no rifles, not necessarily would have made any difference to his prospects of winning that round. And that could cost them the round. They need a big play. Max just burnt himself alive, I assume. He ran through his own Molotov while flashed. I'm not sure what happened there. but we'll have to just keep on pace with the action because it's back and forth engagement, back and forth frags, Lucan and David, and now Stappy comes back up to the plate. 2-on-2, Lucan is down at 42 HP. The bomb's in such an awkward position though, and Hades has his eyes on it. He knows they have to peek into his crosshair. This round should be done. Hades misses his chance though and gets punished, and now it's down to the brains behind the operation to flex his brawn.
He's going to play the bomb. He's going to play the time. He's not going to face Snappy. He's not going to show anything in Snappy. He's going to spawn, try and cross on over, but David will spot him. Sees the shadow first. Well played from David there. Composure. As you said, ice running through his veins, and a very...
ENCE, after a disappointing defeat, have to try and come back out of the embers the other side, and that's exactly what they're doing. Spinks and Diha putting down the pain and suffering with the A1Ss. Diha smoked off on connector, could open up a little bit of wiggle room for the plant, but Hades is there on the CT side with the AWP, and now he's got some backup in the form of Snappy. Although he goes down, Snappy is that second player up, and he has crossed to the left-hand side of the boxes from the T's perspective. This is such a good angle, such a good position which you expect him to make the most of, and he does just that. Bomb drop, Rocks may be unknown right now, but not for much longer. That was labored. Diha nearly whiffed it, but he still got the kill, and ENCE bounced right back into winning ways.
Smoke blooms, and they will actually get the bomb down here, and things can suddenly get a little messy. Diha able to, however, find Rocks, but the bomb will be planted, and that's a little bit of money in the bank, and a kill for David.
Oh, there's a small gap in that smoke, but another one's been put in that allows David to pick up the AK. Grenade is good damage, and the follow-up is there on Spinks. They feel claustrophobic right now, 9Z, because they've got such low firepower and no utility. They feel like they have to push out. They have to try and take control over this round. DGT with even trade back and forth with Hades, but now Lucan's getting aggressive with the Deagle. His back is open though to CT, and he will get swarmed. Snappy and Spinks lock it down, close. Very close to doing enough, 9Z. There was only a few seconds to spare on that defuse. In position to use this, and in doing so now, they're walking into the crosshair of Diha. Spray for one, anticipating a second player, but Rocks does counteract. That's allowing them a little bit of safe passage up on the connector side. Madden in a bit of an awkward spot. He's got players on connector, players on ramp. Time itself is ticking away from 9Z. They've got to start pressing W. They've got to start putting down some pressure. And Hades will retort in kind with his AWP. Madden goes down on the side. DGT and Lucan both pick up big frags, but here's Spinks. 5 seconds to play with. Spray is good, but he dies just in time, and 9Z pick up a 9-6 deficit going through to the second half.
If Spinks gets a second kill, he just gets the hell out of dodge and the round's done. They lose to the time, but somehow 9Z...
Yeah, the T-side of Mirage is very interesting. You can be very free-flowing on that, and I wonder if when they're confined and constricted a bit more, if 9Z are going to struggle. We'll have to wait and find out. What we do know is that Spinks is on a heater. Well, that continues. David has multiple chances. Take one of them, and that's left Max out to dry on the end of a fishing rod. Completely baited. David gets one, finally, but it's at the cost of multiple of his teammates, and that could very well just be the final nail being put in. However, he's now going to stand his ground, and as long as he's alive on CT boxes, it allows his teammates to push out through connector and behind him as well. Down he will fall, but DGT is straight back into the action. 2-on-2. Post-plant, already half of that fuse has ticked away. They need to get on this side, but Snappy and Spinks tag team in tandem, put down the bullets to faces, and ENCE get the second pistol.
Henceforth.
I think Spinks has only died the same amount of times as 19 picked up rounds. That's something when he dies, they typically falter. Rocks now very awkward, very labored, needs DGT to go nuclear. And instead, it was more of a puff of smoke. Only one kill. Here comes the rotational play, but Snappy may be overzealous. Maybe needed to wait for his teammates to push out onto the site. So all things considered, ENCE find themselves a player behind. They are at a disadvantage, but it's their two heavy hitters. It's Hades and Spinks. And Spinks right now basically counts for 5 players on himself. And he'll show here, as long as David doesn't put a bullet between his eyes, which he has. Ooh. Hades keeping this round alive, but there's Lucan as well. Great retake from 9Z. And they will be picking up their 7th.
That little tap from Hades, that was filth, though.
It is. is, and ENCE have had no issues with taking their time on these rounds, which means that you're prolonging the round, making more of those smokes. That's a little bit more valuable. Snappy gets 2, a nade into connector, blowing it to pieces, and then takes the head of mid. DGT falls the same way, and this being a force-up on 9Z leaves them with very little to play with afterwards. The save doesn't seem to have done them any good whatsoever. Rocks alive with David, isolated from one another, although they may have the same idea again to try and pull the plug and save these 2 weapons. I'm not sure they'll be afforded that luxury. And Madden aggressively through the backside on CT, nullifying David and entirely denying his weaponry. Rocks has picked up an M4, but he's on the market, and I feel like he may not be long for this world, Blair, because there's still plenty of that fuse left on the bomb. He may be getting hunted down.
It looked like they were going to be wrapping around here, but they slowed things down.
Of course it's Spinks.
Man, Spinks is... he's unreal. He's actually so stupidly good, where I'm like it's unreasonable.
35 seconds left, and ENCE starting to force their will and explode out onto the side. And explosives have been planted through the smoke. Spinks nullifies Lucan, Dha onto DGT, and the pieces of the puzzle are falling into place. Snappy puts it down to just Rocks. 3 players to find and frag, and he will stumble, trip, and fall. Spinks 1 shy of his 30, and ENCE 1 shy of their first victory at the major. So be careful what you wish for. Dha, elsewhere on the map, has put down Rocks over on the B side, and now he can push out alone. He's a one-man wrecking crew. He's trying to draw away rotations, but 9Z, to their credit, are not biting down on this. Spinks now going in for 1. He's got his 30, but he will be shut down afterwards. And DGT and Max, last 2 players standing, have at least posted up 1 before DGT is wiped clean. Max has got 2 more players to find and frag, but I think he's going to get caught from the back, and there is Madden. 16-7 will be the win, and it was indeed easy for ENCE at the end.
It was very, very easy for ENCE, Vince. And yeah, like all the games we've had thus far.
Hey guys, I'm currently running a giveaway of this falsche knife Outronic. The winner will be picked live on my stream just before the major grand final. If you want to participate, the link will be in description below.